It's never been translated, that is not in most libraries in France because it's politically incorrect. And it's a book about, they imagine a future, I don't remember, it's 2015, that France will go bankrupt. So it's a novel, it's an economic novel. I would have liked to write it if I had time, because it's a novel. See, it begins with the general manager of a big French company who is with his family in Beijing, in the best hotel in the peninsula in Beijing. He has been 10 days. So at 10 a.m. he's leaving the hotel, and he put his credit card of a great French bank, Société Générale. And the little Chinese says, "Sir, we don't accept French cards. But I have here a card of Bank Paribas." No, we don't accept any French card. So that night, the chairman of Électricité de France has to spend in jail, waiting for some people to help him to pay the bill of the hotel because his credit card doesn't work. And then the second chapter is what has happened, because that was 10 a.m. Well, at 9 a.m., Standard & Poor had called the French finance minister to tell them that the rating of France was that morning going from AAA to B. That means what's called technically junk bond status. And France is like the debt of Argentina. So at 9:01, the stock market opens and goes down 30% in France. At 9:02, the French finance minister doesn't have money to pay that day salaries and have to tell all the workers that at 9:05 there is an emergency meeting. The Minister of the Interior, who is a politician, says, "Well, but let's print euros." Finance Minister says, "Mr. Minister, you are a politician, you don't know something. We don't print euros. The euros are printed in Frankfurt by the European Central Bank." "Well, then let's abandon the euro now and let's print all francs." Well, that would be a crime, but in France and Austria abandon. So at 10 a.m. a special jet takes the finance minister of France to Frankfurt. And she goes to the board of the European Central Bank, and on her knees she asks for a loan to France to pay that day the salaries. And the European Central Bank, managed by the Germans, of course, said no, and the novel assumed that Germany has done its good work, that Merkel has done the before. So the Germans said, "Do you remember 5 years ago when we were telling you that you should do what the Germans are doing, you should work until 67. You should not have the best wine in every dinner. Maybe one day you can have also a Chilean wine." So the Germans said, no money. But then they say France will, tonight, whole France, a second French Revolution. There will be blood in the street. So finally, no, the novel is well, there's a lot of humor. So finally, the French Central Bank, the European Central Bank, the German Central Bank, tells the French, "Okay, you have a lot of gold under the Bank of France. So if you move all the gold of France to Frankfurt," and then the French said, "But this gold has never abandoned France, not even Nazi Germany, because they took it to Vichy and the Germans agreed that the gold should not." So this gold has been there since Napoleon stole it from all of you. The Germans said, "Well, take it or leave it." So that night, 100 trucks at 3 a.m. outside the Bank of France, 100 trucks with all the French army around, moved from Paris to Frankfurt, all the gold of France. And then the European Central Bank writes a check for it. Well, it goes on and on and on. I will not tell you the story, but and it ends, of course, with a good, the political changes, and then there comes a finance minister who has to tell the people the truth. And finally, I do remember, because I love the Louvre Museum, probably some of you have been. And that finance minister he asked for the budget of the Louvre. The Louvre budget is, I don't know, $1 billion. And he says, okay, but the Louvre charges a ticket. Every time José goes, I pay a ticket. Well, it is discovered that the tickets of the Louvre finance 10% of the Louvre budget. That is, I finance 10% of my joy. The other 90% is financed by French workers. So that finance minister immediately cut the budget of the Louvre before cutting the salaries. So the Louvre, in order to pay the salaries that month, put La Mona Lisa of Leonardo da Vinci. Have you heard of this beautiful painting, La Gioconda, in an international bidding? La Gioconda. And a 28-year-old Chinese internet entrepreneur buys La Gioconda for $300 million, moving to Shanghai, and in his office, modern building, you enter, and it's La Gioconda. La Gioconda goes to Shanghai, to the rich Chinese internet entrepreneur. Now they are billionaires in China. So China gets the cultural treasures of the West, because the West has been spending money on pensions and vacations and wine and not being responsible. An extraordinary book, Le Jour où la France a fait faillite. Well, the reaction of European politicians in general, that all this is a conspiracy. You see, Europeans always believe. So this is Zapatero, the Spanish. So he immediately said during this month, Spain is the victim of an international conspiracy because of the budget deficit that he controls, but supposedly to destroy the country. This is a prime minister. And the euro. Nothing that is happening is chance. All this is a conspiracy of the editorials of the foreign media. The foreign media, you see, the Financial Times, The Economist was in a conspiracy against poor Zapatero. Because Zapatero couldn't pay the bills. Because, well, the Economist grow up to Zapatero's be mature. But really, this is and there have been in different forms the reaction of Sarkozy and even of Merkel. They believe there is some sort of conspiracy of the hedge funds. It's nonsense. The problem is that they spend more than they take. Those are the numbers. What conspiracy? Well, maybe they believe that the conspiracy not to lend them money, but why should you lend money to someone who is going bankrupt? But anyway, this is very worrisome, because if you were to say, okay, there's a reaction in Europe, but there are these leaders, and I have here a great leader. You see, this man would not have reacted saying there is a conspiracy of the capital markets and the foreign media. This man would have said, blood, sweat, tears, and let's solve the problem. Now, this man is not alive, Winston Churchill, but what I mean is that Europe has been able to produce great leaders in the past. Whatever you may think of this little detail or not, but this, of course, is a leader. He's a man who dared, during all the 30s, to say there was a problem with Nazi Germany, and nobody heard him for 10 years. He was alone in taking a courageous position. So, basically, the solution to this is that you need the elite, not necessarily political diversity. It can be the elite. It can be people making the speech 1,000 times. But you need someone to tell the truth to Europe, and then we hope the citizens will elect politicians that will dare to find a solution. And there is a solution to all this. Well, of course, it has something to do with the long and narrow country, part of the solution. But there is a solution to this problem. Everything has a solution.